Good morning, students. Today we are going to do the chapter Discovering Tut. The saga continues. Now, what does the author write in this chapter? This chapter is about Tutankhamun. Now, who was Tutankhamun? He was the last heir of the powerful Pharaoh dynasty. अब pharaohs कौन होते थे? Pharaohs are the kings of Egypt. They are called as pharaohs. और वो last heir था, means सबसे last king था. But he died at a very young age. किसी को कोई मालूम नहीं है कि उसकी डेथ के पीछे क्या कारण था. No one knows about his untimely death. बहुत सारी mysteries है इसके पीछे. Some say someone must have murdered him. कुछ कहते हैं कि maybe it is because of a curse. There are many stories. But in this chapter we are going to try to find out some mysteries about his death. Now, in this chapter, we come to know that Tutankhamun was a powerful pharaoh ruler who had ruled his dynasty for 9 years. जिसने 9 साल तक अपनी डायनेस्टी को रूल किया था. और वो है ना, सडनली नो वन नोज, सम से कि वो ही वॉज मर्डर्ड. पर उसकी थूम वॉज डिस्कवर्ड बाय हार्वर्ड कार्टर इन 1922. उसके 80 years बाद he was taken for a CT scan to find out the mystery of his death. उसकी मिस्ट्री फाइंड आउट करने के लिए कि उसकी डेथ का क्या कारण था, he was taken for a CT scan. Now, one is this, that they say it is a murder. Someone said it was a curse. Because what happened, his grandfather, Amenhotep III, he was a very powerful pharaoh who had ruled the country for 40 years. But when he was succeeded by Amenhotep IV, that king pharaoh was a little wacky. Wacky मतलब थोड़ा सा पागल जैसा था. What had he done? उसने अपने किंग्स जो था, उसने अपने गॉड, जो उनका गॉड था, आमून, he had destroyed his statues. उसके सारे statues break कर दी, temples break कर दिए, and he shifted his capital and he named his capital as Aten, and he worshipped Aten, the sun god. और उसने अपना नाम Amenhotep से he made it Akhenaten. So he changed his name also. So what happened? He did not rule for much. और उसके बाद जो उसका successor था, वो भी was just mysteriously died. After that, Tutankhamun again came back to throne. And when he came back to throne, again what did he do? He shifted back to the old capital. He also started worshipping God Amun, and he also changed his name from Tutankhaten to Tutankhamun, means servant of Amun god. So that is how he started worshipping, and suddenly he died mysteriously. So some people say कि maybe because of his grandfather Akhenaten, he must have been cursed. जो उसने काम किया उसके कारण उसे curse मिला था. When his mummy was discovered by Howard Carter, it was in 3 coffins, it was full of wealth, and there were many things of today's items like razor, games, clothes, cases of food, wine, everything. सब कुछ उसके साथ मिला था. Then he was again taken out by Hawass, and he had x-rayed in 1968, but yet they saw that his breastbone and his front ribs were missing. Then Tut was again taken for a CT scan in 2009. So You have seen how they tried to find his mysteries of life and death. Now, when he was a teenager, I said he was very young when he died. जब वो मरा था तो बहुत ही young था. उसका discovery of tomb was done in 1922 and then they tried to find out कि उसके murder के पीछे क्या बात थी. What was the extreme possibility? Now, leaving his tomb for the first in almost 80 years, Tut had undergone a CT scan, and that offers clues about his life and death. Now, when his tomb was discovered, many people reached there to see his tomb. सब लोग उसे देखने गए क्योंकि उसके बारे में जो उन्होंने सुना था कि he is fully made of gold and the coffin is made of gold and all those things. और वो Valley of Kings में where he was cremated, वहाँ सारे के सारे लोग देखने गए वो rock जो it was found and wind was blowing and it was like ghostly, जैसे अभी कुछ कर्स फॉल होने वाला है. एंड आफ्टर 3,300 years ago when the king had died, उसके बाद after 3,300 years a CT scanner was brought where they were going to CT scan his dead body. Now what happened? There were strange winds blowing in the Valley of Kings. It is there, the location where the cemetery of the ancient kings was there. In 2005, around at 6 o'clock, King Tut's mummy was taken out and it was placed in the CT scanner to investigate his mystery behind his death. Now what happened during the afternoon? Many tourists came to see his body. They gazed at the murals. सारे जो walls पे थे वहाँ murals बने हुए थे. All the murals were made. And the most striking feature of this mummy was the gold coffin, the outer coffin lid, where he was fully in gold. Now many visitors had learned from their guidebooks and everything, and they just stood silently, चुपचाप सब देख रहे थे. And they were thinking, because we have taken out, वो लोग ये सोच रहे थे कि हमने फ़रो को उसकी रेस्ट में से उठाया है, मीन्स ही वॉज पीसफुली स्लीपिंग, सो मे बी शायद अब हमारे ऊपर एक कर्स कैन फॉल अस. एंड दे वर ऑल थिंकिंग कि पता नहीं कैसा मिसफॉर्च्यून फॉल हो सकता है अपॉन ऑल द पीपल ऑफ इजिप्ट. नाउ ज़ाई हवास सेड, हु वाज अ सेक्रेटरी जनरल, जब 2009 में ये निकाली थी फ़रो की डेड बॉडी, मीन्स कॉफिन ममी, he said that it was in very bad condition. And why was it in bad condition? Due to Howard Carter, who had taken out and who had discovered Tut's tomb in 1922. And what happened? He had gone through a place and he had raided that place. He looked, he saw that many of the things were raided, because he was going through fast, so that it may not be stolen or it may be not damaged, जिससे डैमेज नहीं हो और कुछ भी स्टील नहीं हो. इसीलिए उसने जल्दी जल्दी जो देखा उसमें, और उसने जो कोशिश की, what he tried to separate the resins from the body, and because of that the condition of the body was very bad when Zia Hawass took it out in 2009 for the, and many things were also missing from it. अब जब जय हवास सेक्रेटरी जनरल ऑफ इजिप्ट ऐसे जब उसने बॉडी निकाली तो ही सॉ कि बहुत सारे वैल्यूबल्स मिसिंग थे, दे हैड बीन एक्सप्लोर्ड पहले। ही सेड कि ये सबसे रिचेस्ट ग्रेव था टिल डेट, आज तक ऐसा रिचेस्ट ग्रेव किसी का नहीं देखा गया है। देयर वर आर्टिफैक्ट्स ऑफ गोल्ड, it was beautiful and as good as new. He said that Tatki things like razor, games, linen, undergarments, wine, सब कुछ वहाँ जो वो अपने next life में use करेगा, that all were buried there. So we end up here.